Okay guys, kids and the shooting sports. Everybody needs to get their family involved in this. Jim and Melissa are going to tell you how they do it.
Hey everyone, it is Melissa and Jim Gilliland of Shadow 6. And in this episode, we're going to talk a little more about children and firearms. Now, I know we talked a little bit about it last season, but there was a lot of, we had a lot of feedback on it where people wanted to hear more, they just thought it was a great episode. And it is really important to get children involved, especially if you have firearms in the home. First and foremost is safety, teaching them safety of a firearm. Now, with our young son, we taught him on a wooden rifle. We taught him finger off the trigger, muzzle up, muzzle down. Never pointed at anyone. Don't point it at a house, cars, anything like that. We wanted to make sure we had all the safety rules down first on a wooden rifle, and we moved him on up to a BB gun. Along with safety, education comes along.
Sure, and the education piece goes hand in hand with the safety piece, because the more we know about something, the better we are with it and around it, and we're safer with it. And so, one of the things we wanted to make sure is we do have firearms, and a lot of our friends do. But what we never ever wanted to happen was, there be an interest piqued that we didn't have involvement in, And again, we talked about it to our children about a lot of things, and firearms should be one of them. Even if you don't want to own one or have one or use one, because your child may be exposed to one. We hear all the time about a kid going over to somebody's house and finding a firearm, or something happens and there's an accident, okay? Well, the first thing that you need to understand is there was not proper education in that scenario. And on both parts, you should never leave your firearms out where children can get a hold of them. But if your child knows, understands, and respects firearms for what they really are, they're going to be the one that defuses that situation and gets an adult and tells everybody to leave them alone. The weekend trips they're very exciting. But one of the things I enjoyed the most was meeting the older gentlemen that were in the hunting clubs and that were in the woods, and learning about their life experiences. And, to gain that respect, and, where you honor the older generation, and you pick up a lot of the values that they had and you bring them into your life and your children's life. It's one of the things that's missing. And we talk about video games and they get so involved, and it builds hand-eye coordinations and things like that. Well, one of the things that, firearms can offer very easily is getting that hand-eye coordination. Some of the targets we shoot, it's very easy to get out there and have those little thumbs that have good hand-eye coordination. But when you start talking about putting sights on targets and finger on the trigger, then those little dexterity pieces go a long way that you're teaching them.
And shooting's not only for boys. Girls love it too. I grew up hunting with my dad. There were other females out there hunting as well. And as far as hunting goes, you're teaching them also a survival skill that they may have to use sometime later in life. One way that we've gotten our son involved with shooting is the excitement of blowing things up, like a cantaloupe, watermelon. With his BB gun, he loved hitting the tin can, being able to see that little hole that he was able to do his sight alignment. Like he said, they're too busy, a lot of kids are playing their video games with their little fingers. They don't realize it at the time while they're blowing up fruit that they're also learning a skill set, which is extremely important as well and goes along with the education and safety aspects.
Sure. And when it comes to conservation piece, when we talk about the hunting, is we're still part of that food pyramid, that triangle, the circle of life. Just because we have, opposable thumbs and, frontal lobes doesn't mean that we're not still part of the animal kingdom. And we still need to do our part for the conservation piece. There's still, a place for us inside the natural food chain, and we need to assume that role too. You get overpopulation and things like that. Just because you can buy meat down at the grocery store doesn't mean that, as a conservation piece, we have a duty that's in our natural world too. So, get your child out, get them involved, if for nothing else, is so that you have a peace of mind that if they ever get in that situation, they'll know what to do. And until next time, you guys hunt the wolf.
And protect the flock.